Hello Flosstube, my name is Laura and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff, and let me know what you're stitching. I like to know what everybody likes to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with me and talk cross stitch and all of that fun stuff. So thank you. Thank you very much. So today I decided to put out all 4 of the Lila Studio Seasons Blessings to show you. Yesterday, right, was the first day of spring. So why not show all of them, and then the winter one is going away. So if you remember, I had said that I finished them all essentially the same way. So here we have spring and summer. I pretty much kept all of the called for colors with DMCs. I don't think I did any changes there. It was just the fabric colors that I did change. And then autumn and winter. So those are there. We're gonna put winter down here because I really want winter to go away. And we'll put spring front and center since that is the season we're in right now. So there we go. Those are the 4. That was a fun project and I really liked how I finished them. And if you remember correctly, I had said last week, I can just also tuck that little hanger down and then I can just make these into leaners if I wanted to, rather than hanging them. But I have these hangers here for now, so I thought I'd leave them there. Okay, so the only other thing I wanted to discuss before I start showing you all of my cross stitch, trading cards. I've been vainly hoping that there's a few that didn't get to me that were missing, and I was hoping that they would get here, and unfortunately they haven't. If they do, after everything is shipped, I will send back to you. Don't worry. This weekend I do have a kiddo coming for probably about a 24-hour quick turnaround trip. So I'm sure you'll forgive me if I don't spend the time that the kiddo's here doing trading cards rather than visiting. But Mo knows that this job it's on the docket, and he's gonna have to set aside some time for me to help me out. The one thing I did want to do is I wanted to address my Canadian friends. So Deborah F., I wanted you to know, I don't want to show any addresses or anything, your trading cards from the last swap just were returned to me. It doesn't really say why. I don't know. So Deborah F., my Canadian friend who does the trading card swaps, the stuff is here. I have your last set of swaps. I was watching Karen, the Stitching Owl, and she had talked about how a package, now Karen's in Canada, had been sent from a U.S. friend, and it had been sent back to the U.S. friend. So I don't know if there's currently any issues with packages going between the US and Canada with the postal systems. So I have 2 options. I mean, obviously I can kind of keep things safe for you here, but I'm not sure what we're waiting for. The other thing I can try to do is I can send them in greeting cards so that they're not packages, and I'm wondering if that would go through easier. So say you have 4 coming to you, I could probably get 2 in a greeting card, and then and when I say greeting card, I might just take cardstock and fold it as a greeting card size and then send them. They're not going to know that it's not an official card in there, and so this way I can get like maybe 2 at a time in there. It'll be thinner like a regular greeting card, and that might go through. So my Canadian swappers, if you could reach out to me and let me know if you'd like me to do that versus, I mean, keeping them safe for the time being, I just let me know on that one. This time around, most people did pretty flat cards, so we don't have to worry so much about the bumpiness and me having to put extra kind of bubble wrap or anything to keep them safe. The other thing is the U.S. Postal Service is just kind of, I don't know, causing problems some or other. Stitchy friend who recently sent me, they said they had forgotten the self-addressed stamped envelope and you sent it to me. I did get it this week, but it came in an envelope that the post office had addressed to me because your original envelope had been ripped in half. Luckily, your self-addressed stamped envelope was still in there, but I don't know, there should be no reason why that was ripped in half. I mean, it wasn't excessively bulky. It should have been just fine. Luckily, it got to me anyway. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but I did get that but you can see things aren't coming as safely as they should be. And that was just a US to US address. That wasn't anything international. So Canadian friends, if you're okay with me splitting it up and putting them in kind of what would be a card and then sending them out that way, let me know. And then we'll be all set with that. Everything else will just go out as regular. I do have one or two other international. Let me know if that's okay. I might just do that for all internationals at this point. Let me know if that's okay, if you have sent to me and you were international. Okay, so that's the trading card stuff. We're done with that. All right, so let's talk projects. I have kind of my usual amount of projects. Were there any particular challenges I focused on this week? There was I Spy. I did get a couple more of my I Spy prompts. I did some acrostics. I usually don't tell you what letters I do for the acrostics. I still have one last I Spy prompt to do. First letter of my middle name. That's the letter A. So actually I have 2 letter A's. I didn't even realize it. I want to let you know that I Spy is not, I don't do it thinking about my own projects, because I had starts with the letter A, and then I just put starts with the first letter of your middle name, not even thinking that that's another letter A. So I pretty much just say, ooh, what sounds good? Do the prompts, and then I move on. I'm currently working on April's prompts. I have 6 out of 10 all set. So hopefully within the next few days, I might be able to get that up. All right, so let us talk stitching. And if I go to my projects, this Monday, I should have said, was St. Patrick's Day. So I did work on some St. Patrick's sort of ish pieces. And so I'm going to show those to you first. I have 3 different ones to show you. So first, these are my St. Patrick's gnomes. And I am working on, let me go this way and try to make it bigger. There we go. It's this one right here with the kind of plaid hat and the shamrock in the part of it there. That's the one I'm working on. I am not doing the background square or the grounding circle. And I know it's not going to look like much, but I got some good progress on the hat. These hats are big. These gnomes, look at the, so, you know, I mean, here's probably where I probably gave myself a 2-inch margin. These Wonderland Ukraine, no, this is Wonder Stitch UA. They originally were available from Wonderland Ukraine. Now this artist's worth of gnomes are over on Wonder Stitch UA. But these gnomes are large. They're not small. So, you know, and half of them are always hat. So we're getting there. Except for one color, which I'm waiting to pull out for something else, this entire piece is done. I have finished the pages up here. So now we are in, you know, there's 2 pages right here, but we're solidly into that. So I don't have to worry about, you know, 4-page breaks. So that's all set right there. And I'm just slowly working my way down. A little bit more of the black to get that kind of band from the hat there with the buckle right there. So I'm going to find challenges to pull this one out this year because otherwise, if I just wait till March to stitch this guy, it'll be 2030 before he's finished. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. This is 18 count Opal Water Nymph from Bestitchme. I had gotten it from a Friday night fight night ages ago, and I just thought it was the perfect color background with some green tones and the yellow, and then the opal, just, you know, St. Patrick's and, you know, pots of gold and sparkles and all of that. I thought was perfect. I am finding, actually, I don't necessarily consciously buy a lot of opal. I'm really enjoying stitching on it, to be honest with you. So I think I need to start thinking about maybe getting a few pieces here or there of, you know, of course, blues, right? Because I use blues all the time. But some fun colors in opal so that if I want to do something with a little bit of sparkle, I have that option. So that's where that is. And like I said, if we were just waiting for the holiday, it wouldn't come out again now until next year. But I am going to do my best to make sure that sees some more sees some more work this year. 2025 finish, no, but maybe a 2026 finish by the end of 2026. I think that's kind of doable. Maybe if I kind of finish the hat, work halfway down through the face, and I just have the body for next year, that might work. This next one, you're seeing every week. It's not, I'm rapidly realizing it probably won't be finished by the end of March because today is the 21st. We only have 10 more days. And I don't, from week to week, work on one project for 2,000 stitches. I just love to switch around. It's just the way I am. And so maybe if I buckled down and stitched on nothing else, but I don't want to do that. I have a lot of projects I want to work on. So this is March Cottage from Country Cottage Needleworks. It will get finished though this year. I'm putting that in my kind of mindset so that, again, for challenges, it will come out. I mean, at this point, if I finished it by the end of March, it wouldn't go up anyway. So this is 18 count vintage country mocha. It's actually on the correct side rather than the back side, which I've done most of the cottages on the back side. And I changed the greens. I darkened the greens and then I kind of brightened the house, to be honest with you. And so I did some more of the house and I wanted to do, I haven't filled in the windows yet, but I wanted to do that kind of pinkish and then some of the frame. And actually I did get the door in. I wanted to get all that in to see, I mean, at this point, I'm kind of committed to this color. I can't remember what color it is. If you wanted to know, just let me know and I can look it up. But I wanted to make sure I really did like it and it wasn't too bright. And I don't think it is. I think I like it quite a bit. Which is good because I don't want to pull all that out. So that's where that one is. I will keep this one out at least for one more week. So next week's the 28th, next Friday. So there is a little bit more of March available after next Friday, but you know, we'll kind of see what happens. So these next two are little teeny tiny finishes, but that's 2 more finishes for the year. This one is actually a start and a finish. I started this on St. Patrick's Day. So I'm not going to show you the original picture because I used all the called for colors. I didn't change any colors. There's my little pot of gold. So Shannon Christine had put on her Facebook page that she had a little scavenger hunt for St. Patrick's Day. So it would have been the week before or the weekend before. I'm not exactly sure. And if you went through and looked at all the different listings, she had 3 coupon codes. I only found one. I stopped after that because I found, and she had a free chart, which was this chart. Once I found this chart, I kind of stopped. But some people stitched it up that weekend and had it fully finished and ready for St. Patrick's Day. It was amazing. And some really cool fully finishes. If you're not on Shannon Christine's Facebook page, that's where I saw several of the finishes. This is an 18 count scrap. I imagine it looks kind of like Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie, but you can see I have a little bit more. So I'll cut this off. And then I have one more scrap for a small. This is a 30 by 30 piece. It uses all DMCs except for the gold. I don't know. Can you see the sparkle there? I'm not sure. It calls for Krynic. I don't have the, actually I never printed off. I just used it on my iPad, the chart. I don't have Krynic, but I do have Petite Treasure Braid. So I used, which is kind of my go-to when I have anything gold, PB03. Petite Treasure Braid is what I put in there. And I didn't know, using these kind of things are still kind of new to me. I don't use them a lot. I didn't know, first I was like, ooh, maybe I'll do 2, I'll, take the strand, fold it over, do a double strand so that the kind of gold is almost more 3-dimensional because it'll be more textury. I did a strand of that and I didn't like it, to be honest with you. So I pulled that out, which was very easy to pull out, which was good. And I did 1 strand instead. And I really like it. It was super easy to use. It didn't split very much on me. I mean, I do small lengths, but this was a small amount to do anyway, so it's not like you needed a ton of it, and it worked really nicely. So I think Petite Treasure Braid would be the way I would go anyway. So that's that little piece. So that I'll cut it down and it will go. I mean, at this point, we're done with, I mean, who doesn't need a pot of gold? If I feel like fully finishing this at some point, I might do it in that kind of that, what I call pillow-y finish, which is not a pillow. It's it's basically several layers of, well, it depends on how much I have here, of batting, and then I just kind of fold this over it so it's really puffy at the front. And then sometimes I don't. In fact, when I do that, I don't even put anything behind like I do here, because I just keep it as a single kind of pillowy sort of piece. So we'll see. But that might be what I do with that one. All right, this is a small. It's going to get lost. I'll put that there. The other fully finish was in February. I started a second on Christmas, not Christmas, on the 25th. I started a second Christmas piece. So this was, Shannon Christine had done a set of, I think it was, she called it the 12 Days to Christmas. I think we got 13 pieces. You paid, it might have been something like $20, and you got the 13 charts. I think it's still available on her site. You know, she has different types of memberships, so on and so forth that she does. And they're just super cute, either 30 by 30 or 30 by maybe 45. There's 13 different pieces we got. And so I decided that I wanted to do some of them kind of to have ready for Christmas. And these are small little guys. I might do similar to the pot of gold. I might kind of do these as those little kind of tiny, what I'm going to call pillowy finishes, even though they're not. And that way they can get tucked in. If I don't want to put them on my tabletop tree, because that's getting kind of full with the small pieces, I can tuck them into my crafty ornament tree, because, you know, you have your big pieces like, you know, whatever, my prairie schoolers say. You need small things to tuck in. And so these would all be really nice to do that. Now, Shannon Christine does an amazing job, but she uses about 57 colors each time she does a pattern. This thing probably had at least 15 colors. So it took a little longer, you know, than I anticipated, because you are changing quite a bit. But overall, you know, they're easy to do. So I've got two finished. What did I do? I think I did the little reindeer, and I have this one. I think this kind of Christmas stitch, and I'll talk about it when I get to plans, because we'll have the 25th next week. I'm going to do things a little bit differently rather than starting a third one of those. So I have two at least on this year, and then as the year goes on, hopefully I'll do some more. But at the moment, I'm going to switch up March a little bit. All right. So those are my St. Patrick's pieces, Irish pieces, all that kind of fun stuff that I worked on. And, you know, got a start and a finish in there, and then got another stitchy finish. So productive week. Okay. Now, the one thing I am participating in with Whip Warriors, closed Facebook group for now, will open again for about 6 weeks at the end of the year. Usually mid-November they open. So if you decide you want to give challenges a try, that's a group to try. It is participation required. And, you know, sometimes life gets in the way. They're fine, though. Say you join and life gets in the way and you just can't do it. Just say, I'm sorry, I have to bow out, and they're fine with it. And you can always come back the next year. It's not like if you leave one year, you can't come back. But one of the challenges they're doing for the month of March is lion. I think it's called Lion versus Lamb. You know, a takeoff of the springtime. March goes in like a lion and out like a lamb, or whatever. If wind is considered lion, then we're going to go out like a lion, because the wind still hasn't stopped here. If I could harness that for energy, I would be golden, because we have had nonstop wind for weeks now. But anyway, so the challenge is to work on full coverage pieces, put in 1,000 pieces, and then put that one down and do another one. And so this is my fourth. Let me see here. Where's Lion versus Lion? Oh, it's just the next page. I was flipping too many pages here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this was the fourth one that I did that of the challenge, and I'll show you that one. And then I did start the fifth, which I'll show you in a little bit here. Now, they did say try to do like least to most. I'm not doing least to most percentages. I'm doing number of stitches. So the fourth least, right? I think I said that right, was The Love We Share. This is charted by Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is by Serr, Quill. I started this one in 2024, kind of year of the dragon idea, and it back in, I want to say was that I kind of was jumping into some fourth wing stitching of my own, as opposed to, you'll see the Sal that I'm working on right now. But this, I kind of thought of this as Violet. So Violet and her dragon, one of her dragons. And this is where it is. I'm just going to cover my face to show you first. So that's what I have. This is done on an 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1, full cross. And as is my way for full coverage, I pretty much hopped around. I stitch full coverage in hand just like everything else. So it makes it very easy to say I want to work on one side versus another. I tried to finish up a couple colors on this, but unfortunately those colors are also at the very bottom of the piece. So I have some colors here that only have maybe 20 stitches left in them, but I'm obviously not gonna skip hundreds of stitches to get to that. So this is fairly filled in. You'll see there's a couple of empty spots for confetti, but this is kind of like the top back part of the dragon there as the sun is shining through. So that's almost done. I did, and here it's harder to see, I did work on some of the white that goes, I think it's 3865. I'm slowly putting a little bit of that in, and then I was filling in some of the confetti here too, which, as you can see, this whole top part is all filled in at this point. And then it's not until you come down to here that you start to see little pieces of confetti. And there's a few over here. So I'm really pleased that I'm starting to fill in some of those slots. I got 1,053 stitches on this one. So then this one went away. So we are at 4 full coverage pieces for the month so far. I did check. I do this. I put things safely, and then I spend days looking for them, weeks, months in some cases, because they're in a safe place. So I put, and it makes sense where I eventually found last year's challenge book. Makes sense, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember that at the time. But last year, Lion versus Lamb was in April actually, and I got 5 pieces done. So I think I might be able to swing 6 this year. I'm doing pretty good. Okay, next, speaking of, I think I kind of planned this. That was my dragon stitch, so I decided to show you my second dragon stitch. Sometimes there's a plan when I do these things in a row, sometimes not. This one has a little bit of a plan. I am working on the Empyrean, Sal stitch along from Forbidden Fiber Co. It is a mystery, which I generally do not do. I love to start top left corner. I love to know what the full piece is. I love to choose a fabric that way. I went with the kit. I got the fabric and I got the floss, and then I'm doing the mystery. So this is a little bit of a different for me. I'm going to show you what we've gotten through Monday's drop. So on every Monday, a new pattern drops. I am nowhere going to be able to keep up with the stitching. I'm okay with that. You'll probably see it every week though, because I'd like to do a little bit just so that I don't get too far behind. So if you would not like to see, if you want to wait until the end, or you don't want to know because either you haven't opened up your thing, I always figure they drop on Monday. By Friday, I'm usually safe, but for some reason, if you don't want to see it, look away right now. All right, so this is what we have so far, what's been dropped for us. This is right, the newest spot. This came before, this was pre-stitching. This was drop number 1, and this is drop number 2. Okay, I'm not caught up, so you won't see drop number 2. I haven't even finished either the pre-stitching or the other, but that's okay. Here we go. Now, I did get the kit fabric, which is called Feathertail, and I got 18 count, of course. I think you all know that by now for me, from Forbidden Fiber Co. So this was dyed by them. And I did first, before the Monday drop, I did a bit more of the words because I was figuring I didn't know where something would come from. So I kind of wanted to, I want to get the words here so I can do the line. And then I think what I might do is I want to try to do the line here, because what if the next drop is down here? You know what I mean? Of course, I'm so far behind, it's not going to matter by the time I get to that point. So I did that. And then when the new drop came in, I said, well, let's work some on the dragon. I had not done any dragon. Last week when you saw it, I had just lightning. And I think I have one more. Yeah, I do. I have another strand of lightning at the very edge here. But I wanted to get the dragon in. So I started from bottom, worked my way up. I know it looks kind of silly right now. That's the Gale. There's two different blues there. And then this is where the wing is. So once the wing is done, and then this other wing, oh, look, I keep thinking it looks like kind of a spunky little seahorse right now before I did the wing, but it's coming. So I think next time when I pick this up, maybe this weekend, I'll see. Well, we'll see how much stitching I get done this weekend, depending on, I'm not sure how the visit's working. It might be kind of like a late afternoon Saturday to late afternoon Sunday. I don't know. It's all up in the air. And if more time, there's always the chance that the time could be a little bit longer, which I'm not going to say no to, but who knows. But if I could get a little stitching before the drop on Monday, I'll try to finish the dragon. I mean, who's kidding? I might still just finish the dragon even when the next drop on Monday happens. I'm enjoying this. Again, I don't see myself throwing myself into mystery stitch-alongs. I have been kind of watching. I'm going to wait till it's completely done, though. I think the Lola Crow, the newest one with the birds. Is it Lola Crow? I think it is. The owl sneak peek is so super cute. But I think, oh, let me put the thing in here. Did you hear that? The gust of wind. I feel like my windows are rattling. I think I'll wait and see that one fully finished before I decide whether or not. It's because it's fourth wing that the mystery got me. I generally won't succumb to the mystery stitch-alongs. Alrighty, next piece here. This was my weekly 500. So I got my 500 stitches in, and this is Spring Quaker from Lila Studio. I refuse to either start autumn or winter until either spring or summer is finished, because why? I want to get one of these done first. Having two on the go is enough. I've decided, I think, if I go to on Thursday mornings, my neighborhood has kind of like they call it needlework. So we have there's a knitter, mostly crocheters, one other cross stitcher. There's about 7 or 8 of us that go. Or can go, usually not. It's rare that all of us are there. And I've decided I might take my 500 rotation, my Q28 rotation, and take that every time, because I want to get 500 stitches in anyway. So it would be a good chance to get those, started for the week that way. So this was this past week's. Yay. So that's what it looks like as a whole. So let me show you that first. Spring Quaker, Lila Studio, 18 count rose hips from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I got 2 things completed. So I felt like I was really accomplished this week. First, I wanted to get this done. So this little element is completely done. Last time you saw it, I think the bunnies were done, but I needed to do this side of the greenery. I found a good rhythm to do it, because I think I had started this side and I wasn't efficiently doing it. But this side I found a good groove. So that went well. The bunnies needed eyes. Those bunnies, that bunny, and this bunny all got their eyes. This bunny still needs his carrot though. And then I was like, okay, I have one more, as you can see. Let me open this up a tiny bit more. I have one more kind of element. There's a Quaker there. I think there's a letter Z. I think you're supposed to put your initials. I may not. I don't know yet. And maybe a couple little elements. But I didn't have the border here done. And so trying to figure out how to count off of things. And given my troubles with the border in summer, I said, okay, I am going to want to get this border done. And so big, huge thank you to Jen from Jen's Fiberweb. You don't know it, Jen, but I watched your video. She just put out a new video this week, so I'm gonna link her down below if you'd like to see her beautiful stitching. Jen got me through finishing that border. I said I'm gonna put on her video, start stitching, and I got it. That I just finished just as she finished her video, so it was perfect. Now there is a way to do the border specialty stitches. I didn't bother. I just did regular old X's. Now what's interesting, and I think it's because of how many stitches, these two corners are different than these two corners. There's a slight difference in the design, but in the big old grand scheme of things, I don't think anybody's gonna notice, to be honest with you. So I ended up, because this one had already been stitched up here and I had half, so I wasn't necessarily sure if I was gonna change that anyway. But part of me was kind of like, do I want to try to finagle it somehow so all four are the same? And in the end, I decided that the amount of extra work that would take, it wasn't worth it. And it's not going to bother me. And I'm not probably even going to notice it when this is completely finished anyway, because there's so much to look at. And I used the called for 3865. If I had thought about it, maybe I would have gone brighter, but in the end, it's going to be fine because this way it blends in a little bit because you're going to have the big center element. So who's really going to notice that border so much? But yay, I had been kind of dreading it, but it, just because it was kind of boring, to be honest with you. But Jen made it much easier to do, and it all lined up, it all worked. And so now we're good to go. So I think I may work on this section. If I'm feeling a little, I don't know, spunky, maybe I'll start doing the center section. Now, you could see I've changed mine quite a bit color-wise. I am going to go back to the original browns for the basket, because those are similar to the browns in the pieces. I think for the basket it would be great. And then I think everything else should be fine. I have made quite a few changes. Where there's black, I did brown. Where there's a lot of the browns, I did the different types of greens. I changed the color of the bunnies. This one is extensively changed, which is funny because summer I haven't changed at all. I think I just wanted this to be more indicative of kind of rebirth and growth and, you know, spring when everything is just starting to come back alive again after the long winter. So when this one comes out again, who knows? You might see me. This is going to take more than 500 stitches. That's a good size half Quaker. So maybe I'll do a little bit here and then jump up here. Who knows? It'd be fun to see how long that basket's going to take. And I do like the big giant flowers. When I first saw this piece, before I saw summer, and then decided I wanted to stitch them all, I really thought about just stitching. When I saw it, I was kind of like, oh, this is a big piece. I don't know if I want all that. But I really liked the center. Take out, you know, forgetting the words. I almost thought about just stitching this before I really went down the whole rabbit hole of stitching all of them fully. Because I think that's so pretty. The flowers are pretty with the little village in the basket. That would be a nice little kind of small. So I'm really looking forward to stitching that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty. Next. So Monday was St. Patrick's Day, and I talked about, okay, it's Monochromatic Monday. What do I want to stitch on? I stitch on one monochromatic piece, sometimes two, but generally one. And then of course I stitch on other things as well. So it's not like the entire stitch day is just this one piece. And somebody had recommended this, and I was kind of thinking that, so great minds, right? We thought of like Summer Refreshes. I'm stitching it in green on yellow fabric. So there you go. It kind of goes for St. Patrick's Day. So this is Summer Refreshes from Summer House Stitch Works. If you are new, I am not stitching these with the multiple colors. I'm stitching them monochromatically. I am stitching them with 319 Floss. And I do like to show it in case you've never seen it before. This is my Floss. It is a DMC product. And I use one strand because it's a one-stranded thing. So one strand works for me on 18 count. This is 18 count lemon by Bestitchme. And I am really pleased at my progress. So Monday wasn't a bad day. I actually went down to the beach. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting on the beach. When I say my beach stitching, mostly what I do is I go down, there's the end of the boardwalk on one of the sides. There's a small little parking lot, and you can see kind of over the sand grass or whatever, and you can see the ocean and you can hear the ocean, and it's just nice. I had the windows a little bit opened. I think I don't know, I pulled up some audiobook. I don't even know what I was listening to. I had that in the background, and I was stitching with the waves, and it was just really nice. So I put some time in there, and I got good progress. Last time you had seen it, I had down here and some of this. I got the entire, and maybe part of the top but I went and finished that. Then the bottom part of the top row came all the way over, and then I finished that's the 2 chimneys on the house. So I find this border very easy to do. The spring one wasn't hard, but this one really just flows. This whole stitch, I think, is going to go much faster than spring did, to be honest with you. Could I have this one? Could I have it done before the beginning of summer? That might be a stretch. Maybe if it was the only thing I stitched on, I probably could. Maybe by the end of summer, though, I could certainly have it finished. So we'll see. I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking this lemon. It's not variegated or mottled at all. It's very kind of a solid yellow, but it's a very nice, soothing yellow. And I think the 319 looks really nice against it. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm enjoying it. So you'll probably see it come out on a fairly regular basis. Stick that just in there for now. I'm trying not to mess my stuff up. Okay. All right, I kind of messed it up, but I'll fix that after the video. All righty. The next piece for lion versus lamb that I pulled out, and I swear I didn't plan it this way. This is the next one that had the least amount of stitches, was my other dragon full coverage. I didn't plan it that way. This is Mini Until the End. It is a retired piece. It was charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Rose Con. Rose Con has retired her stuff from Heaven and Earth. I do have a Rose Con piece from Sunflower Stitches, and I believe she also has some of her other work. I don't know who charts it. I can't remember, but somebody else is charting some of her work. I haven't seen any of these. There was a series of these, I think, different dragons. This just happened to be one of them. So I'm going to show you all. I do have all the way down to the bottom. That's the height there. I'm not yet quite done on this side. Probably about there. But I actually did quite a bit of fill-in so far. Well, no, I shouldn't say quite a bit because I've only got about half of the way through on this. So I have another at least 500 stitches, maybe more, to do on this piece. But I decided to go back and I did a little bit. I think it was over here first. I don't remember. Somewhere around here, I took a color and I started to take it down all the way. And then I went farther up and I've started to, as you can see, there's not a lot of confetti left. I'm going back and I'm starting to kind of build this on its way down that way. So that's what I've done so far. I think each time, well, I know at least once or twice, I've just taken one color and just stitched it that night, whatever I could get in that night. There's multiple shades of the different blues and such here, you know, as the background. So there's good kind of, you can follow, a path with it, which is really nice, especially with Pattern Keeper. Again, 18 count, white, 2 strands over 1 full cross. So you will see this one next week. I will probably continue doing that. I'm kind of enjoying that. I thought about finishing, the third corner and decided that was not what I wanted to do. So, you'll probably see in the same area next week. And that's it for my dragon full coverages. I don't have any more than that. Okay, so this next piece. Now, I can't remember. Why did I pull this out? Because this is a Christmas piece. I don't think I did anything with, I might have done it with an acrostic, but I don't think I Spy. No, I Spy wasn't. There was nothing with it. I'm stitching this piece twice. This week I stitched it in one of the colors. Next week, I'll probably pull it out for some Christmas stitching. You'll see it again. So this is Spirit of Christmas. It's from Textile Crafts. It just came out this past Christmas. I started it, I believe, in December. And, oh, I forgot to check. Let me see if I can see. I don't think I have the tag. No, I'm using Threadworks on this, but unfortunately I didn't write down which Threadworks. This is my gold version. I can show you, as you can see now, I have a lot less to do. That's the white version. So that's going to be kind of the kind of more modern, and this is the more kind of vintagey, I look at ways of doing it. But I'm using the same exact floss, and I'm doing this with this piece, and then I'm doing a green version of a modern folk embroidery piece as well, double with this color and the white. But this is where I got for the gold version. I concentrated mostly here, so except for some easy little elements down here, this is done. Now this Threadworks is, as you can see, pretty heavily variegated. I generally don't work with heavily variegated flosses just because my eyes don't adjust to them very well. I'm not sure why. I don't know if, I'm gonna blame it on astigmatism. I can blame everything on that. But my eyes sometimes really, it almost hurts them. I can't look at this too long, but I like experimenting. So I am doing it, but I can't, I can look at it this way. But if I were to look on it straight on, sometimes it bothers my eyes. This is not a huge piece. It's just a matter of, you know, plugging along on it. Once I finish this, I'll probably go up, maybe work on the joy. There's a nice little fun element there, and then one more ornament. So it'll come along. Whether or not it'll be done for next Christmas, I don't know. I don't care. It'll get done when it's done. It's just a fun experiment. So yeah. So like I said, you'll see this again with the white next week, and we'll see where I can get on that. I try to stay somewhat in the same spot, but I'm not going to be stitch for stitch, you know what I mean? It's just basically in a general close area, so that way they can both be finished at the same time. Because if I did them start to finish one, then tried to pick up the next one start to finish, I don't know how much then I would really want to do. So I want to keep them pretty similar kind of thing. All right, so this next piece here, this week we did have the 13th, right? I believe. Oh, so the 13th was last Thursday. I started these after I had gotten, I think I told you this before, anything after a certain point on Thursdays, I don't put in my video for Friday because I already have everything all set. It's all ready to in the order that I want to iron, and you know, sometimes I even have it already ironed in my notes if I'm really good. So anything on a Thursday, generally, especially later on a Thursday, you don't see till the following video. So a week ago Thursday was the 13th, so I did some, you know, dark 13 stitching, whatever you want to call it, and I pulled out two different pieces. This first one is October's Marigold by Cottage Garden. Yep, Cottage Garden Samplings. I am really, really hoping to get all these finished this year. So when I can pull them out, I will. And I got some good progress on this one. This is where it is. It's done on an 18 count Ice Queen from Bestitchme. The Spirit of Christmas was Honey from Bestitchme, if you were wondering. So first I did some letters. This is one of the few. So they're all 12 are charted to have two different colors of flosses. And most of them, I did not keep them that way. I started several of them that way, and in the end, I wasn't really loving it, so I've pulled it out. But on this one, I think the orange and the black kind of look a little cool, so I am keeping it. I am realizing, though, how much easier it is when it is one color. It's a bit of a pain when it's the two different colors. So I plugged away, did some letters on the 13th. I put it away, and then I did pull it out later on this current week, and I decided that I wanted to get, you know, a little bit of here more done. So I did concentrate up in this top corner. So we've got this little flower done with the greenery. I've got this flower, yep, is done. So now the greenery is going to come down. There's 4 colors in these flowers. So there's quite a bit of color changes and things like that, which takes longer than you anticipate. But now that that's done, I have one more large marigold here, and then a lot of greenery, which will be easy. In the original, she has 2 different colors. I wasn't really thrilled with one of them, and I decided, why change it? I like this one. So I think this might be 3362. I'm not, don't quote me on that though. I liked how it looked, so why not just have it all one green? So that's going to be slightly different as well. And then the letters. I'm not going to do, I don't know if you can see, there's little stray, I think they're supposed to be candy corns. I'm not going to bother doing that. I'm going to like it clean and sleek this way without putting that in there. So there we are. That's a fun one to pull out for Dark 13. I did a small one, and then I did a big one for the kind of the monthly stuff. And so the next one, the big one, so last month I did Samhain. This month, this is the big one I have too. That is going to take some time. But that's okay. It is Witch's Hollow, and it is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. Now, this was originally in a box that they did, but I did not get the box, and I waited the full year. It was longer than a year. It was probably about 13, 14 months, but they did release the digital, and this went into Pattern Keeper like a dream. And I had stitched Autumn Town with paper, and it can be done, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot easier, especially the full coverage parts with Pattern Keeper. So I did start up top here, which is good because all that orange is just fabric. So once I get this done, this will be a lot easier. If you want to see it from bottom up, Helen D. And I don't know if Helen is in the, Helen might be in the full coverage part. So it looks amazing. I'll link her down below. I'm sure you're watching Helen though. She did not, she put out a video this week too, I think. It all blends together after a while when I see people's videos. I'm almost sure she did, and I know she hasn't shown it, but hers is really cool because she started from the bottom and is working up, and it's super neat. So if you want to check that out, check out her videos. So there's mine. That is the far corner. And oh, look at this fabric. This is 18 count genuine Jillian by Those Missing Stitches. I have to do this. Look at how, oh, it's gonna blow it out. It is so cool. It's more orange in person, maybe like that. There we go. Oh, it's so beautiful. And this is the edge. So look at how much extra I have. Oh, I'm so thrilled. Lynn does, I know I talk about Lynn probably almost every video, but her hand-dyed fabrics are phenomenal. Her Aida is that sweet spot, not too stiff, not too soft. Oh, it's just so lovely. So I just focused on here, and I got over 500 stitches actually. I was really proud of myself. And again, it's easy when you're following the path that Pattern Keeper gives you. And I did some black. I did some more black over here. Then I went to do some of the different colors of the purples to kind of start filling that in. I know it doesn't look like a ton, but really good progress. I'm really pleased with myself. Oh, Autumn Lane. This could be an A. If I'm looking for an A next week, maybe I'll pull this one out again. We'll see. I have another one that I think I might have been doing. I was going to do my April Cottage Garden. We'll see. Choices. It's nice to have choices. All right, and I have one last piece to show you. So this one, I was watching Carolyn Zook. It's C. Zook Stitch, I believe, is her actual Flosstube name. Again, I'm sure you're watching Carolyn. Everybody watches Carolyn. But if you don't, she's linked down below. She had pulled this one out. She is it this month? I watch Flosstubes, and then if I don't, and I don't make notes, and that's really where I should. I need to make notes. I think this month was her birthday, and so she's been pulling out previous birthday starts, and this, I don't remember what year, this was one of them. I think that's what it was. I started this one, not this December, past December, but the December before, so that would be 23, for Beth the Steadfast Stitcher's birthday. Let me write down Beth. So Beth's birthday is in December, and so she has a stitch along for her birthday. And in December of 2023, Beth asked us to do something that was Rosewood Manor. I think she started 2 beautiful pieces for her birthday. And so Carolyn had pulled this out, and she was like 50% done. And I said, oh, I'm going to stitch on this. So as soon as I saw that, I pulled this out. This is Blue Rhapsody from Rosewood Manor. I am doing the DMC, well, no, there is no DMC version. This is charted in weeks. I chose 2 different blue DMCs that I liked. That looks similar, and I'm using DMC. So here we go. This is 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. I wanted kind of more of a neutral, and this one is nice. Darling David is is a favorite neutral of mine from Those Missing Stitches, but it's not. It's funny because this portion of the die is not. It's very kind of calming and subtle. I want to say I'm using Darling David for Librarian's House. Now, part of it is I am doing colors that are more reddish, and so the fabric looks reddish, versus this one looks a little bit more calming and quiet, I guess is the best way for me to put it. But I wanted the blues to really shine and not compete against anything. And so this is the corner. That's it. That's as far as it's going to go. I did the lighter color of a couple letters. I did the J and the K. So you can see some of my letters don't have the second blue yet. And that's okay. I think I'm going to do quite a bit of the alphabet, then go back, unless I have a strand of this other blue. I'm using 336 and 931. So 336 is the darker blue, 931 is the lighter. Then I buckled down and I said, Laura, you've got to get this final corner done. I think I have one stray stitch somewhere that I have to do. I have to check I'm doing this on a working copy. I don't know if Rosewood Manor is any digital or if it's all just paper, but the working copy is pretty easy to follow, so I'm okay with that. Somewhere there's a stray stitch though, probably the 931. Yeah, probably. But this is on a page break, and it was really just, I kept ignoring it. So I said, ignore it no more. So this entire element, except for that one stitch, is done. Yay. That took me a while. And then I just had this little flower, and I decided there's some pretty, well, I decided partly because I saw Carolyn's and I said, oh, there's some really pretty stuff down here too. So I want to get some of this done. And therefore I decided to come down here and work on this flower. So that is completely done, that flower element. If I wanted to now, you've got the numbers and then Roman numerals. So I could do a whole row of that if I wanted to. Underneath the S and the T, where's that though? That's over here. There's some cool things, but I'm not there yet. So next time I pick it up, I'll probably do a couple letters, and then I'll probably start jumping around and doing, there's a fun element next to the flower too. So I'll jump around. Isn't there at sports things, basketball games, isn't there like jump around, jump around? I think it's like a 90s song. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to sing. I feel like that should be my theme song, because I jump around all the time on on my stitching. There's never any rhyme or reason as to what I'm doing or why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So that was my stitching. Yay! What are my plans? So starting yesterday, which I did not start, in Whip Warriors, they started the riff off, which is basically you start with a theme word. This time I think it's colorful. And so you match it to your project, and then you match that project to another project, and you work your way down. The catch is I don't think you can repeat projects, and you cannot repeat prompts. So if I use bird, I can't use it again farther down, or usually lighthouse is one of them because I have a lot of lighthouses, or beach or whatever. And I'm doing 100 to 200 stitches. I am not doing it officially through the group. Unfortunately, I'm not sure this year. In years past, at the beginning of the month, they would list pretty much all the events. So you knew what was coming up and you could kind of plan accordingly. And every once in a while, there'd be a surprise that they wouldn't put, but this is a semi-regular event, so that wouldn't have fallen underneath that. But this year, they're not doing that at the beginning of the month, so you have no clue what's coming up for your challenges in the month. And I really didn't know. I thought there was one of these coming up, but I didn't know if it was this weekend or next weekend. So Wednesday night, they put up the event. And I said, at that point, I'm just going to do it on my own. And so I'm not going to bother with the before and after pictures and posting and all that. I'll just have fun with it myself, which means I can do 100 to 200 because you had to commit to 100 stitches, 200 stitches, or 500 per piece. But because I'm doing it on my own, I'm just kind of giving myself wiggle room on that. So you might see a whole bunch of things with connections, and then I usually do show them with the connections. So that's this week. On the 23rd, I've been doing my pumpkin birthday stitching. October is my birthday, but I pull out at least one piece from my pumpkin birthday stitching. So I'll probably do at least one pumpkin stitch piece. And then of course there's the Christmas stitching. I was always doing it on the 25th, but I heard somebody mention how they did it on the 24th and 25th. So we'll see. I would really like to pull out Christmas Town by Citrovia. That hasn't seen any work this year yet. Neither has Mick Christmas. So those two, maybe I'll pull one out on the 24th and one on the 25th. We'll see. I don't know what's going on next week, so I don't know what I have for plans. So that, and then I did give it a start yesterday, but you'll see it next week. The butterfly, let me show you. We started it. I had shown this in my plans, and Karen, the Stitching Owl. Oh, Karen, I need to link you down. I don't know what it is. Halfway through, my pen always stops working, and I'm not sure why. And I unclick it, so it's not like it keeps it open. But Karen, the Stitching Owl, had reached out to me when I showed this and said, oh, I have this. Let's start it together. And then it snowballed, and we have about 5 or 6 of us starting it now. This is Butterfly, either 1 or 2. There's 3 of these by Doreen Jones, and they're full coverage. This is, I want to say, like a 140 by 140. So it's not huge. And it's a fun full coverage in the sense that you're not going to have a lot of confetti. You'll have chunks of, there are some places where maybe there's 5 or 6 of a color and then you have to wait to see it again. But there's huge chunks, which is really nice. I did make an error. I've already had to frog. I couldn't, it was in the black outline. I couldn't not pull it because it wouldn't have worked. So I did have to do some frogging yesterday. But we started this yesterday. I think Karen is, I believe it's Stitch All the Butterflies. So if you have, for the hashtag, Stitch All the Butterflies. I know that another friend reached out and said that she was stitching one of the other Doreen Jones butterflies, which is awesome. It's pretty. I think it's a yellow one. Or you can just stitch any kind of butterfly you want. But if you'd like to stitch butterflies with us, it's Stitch All the Butterflies. And I did start this, so you'll see this next week. I might try to get some more work on it. I was debating. This might be the first riff-off piece. So, because it's colorful. So that might be kind of, it can play into the whole riff-off event. We will see. So those are kind of the plans in a little bit of a nutshell. I always kind of always throw something else in there because I never know 100% what I'm doing from week to week. So that's where that is. Alrighty. I got a piece of happy mail and I am so grateful for this. Let me show you. Okay, here it is. I had gotten a notice that something was coming from Australia and I couldn't remember what. Well, that's because I hadn't ordered it. This was a beautiful little kind of happy mail piece from Lisa from Petite Lane Designs. And I got a little package, and so she had sent me a few different, couple different things, and I wanted to show them to you. I'll take it out of the plastic in a second. This came as a kit that she sent to me, so that was really sweet. So let me take it out here. This is the pattern. It is Raining Love by Petite Lane Designs. And it's so much fun. And this is a paper copy, but I am almost sure, I am 99% sure you can get digital copies. So that is what that looks like. And she sent me, so the called for fabric. Now, Lisa from Petite Lane does a lot of hand dyeing fabrics. And I've always been super intrigued by it. But it's Australia, you know, obviously, you know, it's going to take longer to get here and rightfully so. Shipping's going to be more because, I mean, you know, I should be paying the shipping. Lisa shouldn't. So I'm not criticizing that at all. But obviously it's going to be more expensive to ship. So I was super excited. I get the chance to look at and touch and feel some of Lisa's fabric here. This was, the called for was called Bubblegum. It was stitched on a 32 count even weave. So Lisa knows me. She knows I love my Aida. And so she sent me, and yeah, that looks like 18 count. She sent me the 18 count bubblegum. Look at this piece of fabric. Is this not amazing? It is so cool. I love it. So I haven't stitched on it yet, obviously. This Aida, again, sweet spot Aida. It is not stiff, but it is not flappy either. Like, it will hold up, you know, type of thing, as opposed to like a Picture This Plus, which just flops everywhere. I think this is going to be so much fun to stitch on. I did, in January, I participated in the Great Australian Shindig. Oh, Lisa, I think I just mangled the name of it, which Lisa had actually coordinated. And so it was people all over the world that could come for a weekend and, you know, kind of stitch together. And we had several Australian floss tubers that were doing meets and greets. So it was really cool to highlight Australian designers and floss tubers. And it was amazing. I can't wait. I think Lisa's going to do it next year as well. And one of the, if you're not watching, well, there's two floss. Well, no, I don't want to, no, I'm going to forget people, but I was going to talk about Peggy. So I'm going to mention Peggy. Peggy Still Stitching. And Peggy had done a meet and greet. And I think it was during her meet and greet, she's got quite a bit of Lisa's fabrics. And so she kind of she showed like the different sizes and some of the different colors. And it was really kind of cool because we got kind of like a show and tell of a lot of Lisa's fabrics. And a lot of what Peggy uses would be from Lisa. So if you watch Peggy's Flosstube, you'll see Lisa's fabrics. But isn't this, I think this is so cool. And then with the kit, Silks for You is an Australian company. And this was charted in the Silks for You, where is it? PR 144. I don't stitch with a lot of silk, but if somebody's going to, you know, if Lisa was wonderfully generous, I'm going to use the silk for that. And look at the color. So you've got purples and pinks, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful color. So look at that on here. I can't wait to start that. That's going to be so cool. And then Lisa didn't stop there. She did send me one more piece of fabric, which, of course, now I'm going to have to go and look at all of your fabric, Lisa. Look at this. And it's an opal, which is so funny because didn't I just talk about earlier how I don't buy a lot of opal, but I want to try. Oh, it doesn't have, does it have a name somewhere? It doesn't have a name. Oh, Lisa, if you know, if you're watching and this is a specific color, let me know so that I can let everybody know. Isn't that beautiful? It's again 18 count Aida. It's so cool because the opal is showing totally green with the green. So it's perfect match with that. Oh, I love that. I don't have a green that shade. So there might be a Paddock Lane fabric order in my future. If you live near me, maybe we could go in on an order. Oh, this is beautiful. So thank you so much, Lisa. That was incredibly generous of you, and I cannot wait to try your fabrics and to stitch your pattern. Lisa designs patterns. She designs some full coverage, some not full coverage. She has a really cool where it's a picture of a woman in kind of a flowing dress, and she has several and different flag designs, and it's basically stitching friends. So if you have a stitchy friend in England and Canada and Australia or whatever places, you can almost have like a customized, and Lisa will, I think, Lisa, maybe you'll do this where you'll switch up. I don't know. I shouldn't speak for Lisa. Ask her if you wanted a specific set. I think it's a trio of flags. Would she be willing to do that? I'm not going to say yes, she will, because that's not up to me to say. I don't want to make more work for you, Lisa. You're busy enough. I get it. But maybe that's an option. But it's a very cool thing. If you go to her, I'll link Paddock Lane. Let me make sure I write a note here. If I don't write notes, I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. So that is my happy mail, and oh, beautiful. I have one piece of shopping. I have a fabric of the month. Now, it came a little bit later. Usually Fabrics by Stephanie is earlier, but Stephanie got sick. I was so sorry to hear that after she came back from market. She's better now. I think she's on spring break for a week. But so this got sent out a little later than normal. Usually Stephanie's fabric is the first one that comes in each month for my fabric of the month. Excuse me there. All right, so if you don't want to see it, please look away. This one's called Winter Wishes. And here it is. It's not going to show. There's like oh, there we go. Just nice, subtle look to this. And I think this would work for so many things. And I have quite a few of Stephanie's, and her fabric of the month, let me put it away, is sometimes new, sometimes part of her established line, which I'm okay with because the pieces I have, I love those colors, and there's others I want to try. So it's perfect. That one is, I believe, part of her established line, I think, but I've never bought it before, so it's neat to have it. So that's my shopping. That's it. Like I said, I did not buy from market. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's shopping as it comes in and see what they bought at market. There's some pretty pieces out there, and I know at some point I'll buy some. I'll probably have forgotten that they came out then because I didn't follow that closely, but I'm sure there'll be purchases from there down the line. But that's all I got. So that's the stitching part. If that's all you're here for, I'm almost out anyway. What did I do this week? I'm going to flip so I put in my stitchy calendar, sometimes I put, I put like little life things too. And I'm just trying to think here. What did I do last weekend? Oh, we met with a neighbor. We hung out with a neighbor that he's back and forth between here and Pennsylvania. And so I had never met him, Gnome through pickleball. He's a wonderful person, and it was a really lovely little visit. So that was really nice. Our acai place. So if you come down to Rehoboth, 302 Acai has opened for the season. And I think right now it's Thursday through Sunday. Best acai bowls you will get. Super nice owners. So Mo and I had our first Sunday date of 2025. We like to do grab our bowls, and then we did go to the beach. And so it's funny. It's a running joke in our house. So I am 50. How old am I? 55. And of course, at this age, my temperature runs a little warmer. I'm usually either not necessarily in like a hot flash, but I just run warmer. As you can see, I'm wearing short sleeves. Mo will be wearing a sweatshirt in the house at the same time. So we grabbed our bowls. We went down to the beach. We grabbed a bench. We usually like to sit at a bench. You're looking out at the ocean, have your breakfast, and so on and so forth. And my goal is, as I start to physically get to the point where I can walk again without, you know, basically severe crushing pain, then maybe a little walk on the boardwalk, because it's right at the boardwalk by the beach after we have our bowls. That would be my goal. Not there yet, but we're getting there. So we go, we sit down, we start, and then I look over and he's like this, and he's shivering. He's like, oh, the wind is at my back, or I don't know what he said. So I said, let's go into the car. We'll finish it there. We can crack the windows. We can listen to it. But I tease him well, I shouldn't say mercilessly. I do tease him quite a bit though, about how, you know, he always feels the cold so much more than I did. But it was really nice. It was nice to have kind of that routine that we do. And it's just like kind of like a little us time. So, you know, if I want to do something stitching, or he, you know, like the Stitchy Zooms or whatever, or he wants to play pickleball, you know, we have our own different things, but we always kind of have that like little kind of activity that we come back to. That's us. And of course, this weekend we'll have a kiddo. So, you know, they can join us on our little date. It's going to be really cold on Sunday though. I don't think there's going to be beach. I don't think we're going down to the beach. I think it'll be grab our bowls and come back to the house. So I think that was the fun part for this weekend. And then, like I said, I stitched at the beach on Monday, which was really nice. It wasn't as windy on Monday, so it wasn't too bad. And then, yeah, there's pickleball. There's just your regular stuff. I did a Stitchy Zoom. Mo has done his pickleball. Again, you know, kind of that. And I'm trying to think, have we watched anything? We started to watch Reacher because we've watched the first 2 seasons. That's on Amazon. And we've watched the 2 first episodes. And there's nothing, I mean, is it the best show I've ever watched? No. Is it an awful show? No. You know, it's fine. And when we want to kind of watch something together, that's an option for us. But I don't know, this week, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think Mo had to work after dinner a few times, and I don't know. I think last night the night before I hadn't slept well, so I think last night after dinner, I'm like, I'm just going to close my eyes. And I just did for 5 minutes. I was really good. But yeah. It's like, oh boy. I'm doing my little nap after dinner now. That's but you know what we want to watch that just started was Top Chef. We have watched, I think, no, not from the beginning, but a lot of seasons of Top Chef together. So I think a new one just started. I don't remember where it is. So that's exciting. So we'll have that to watch as well. But other than that, I don't think I've watched anything really, besides just I'm still watching my regular stuff and just watching the next episodes of the stuff. So nothing new to talk about. Books, I just got my book for the book club from the library. Most of you have probably read it. It's an old one. So this is a mystery book club, and somebody recommended Presumed Innocent from Scott Turow. I'm sure I read it years ago. I wouldn't remember. So I just picked that up, and so that's on the to be read list. And I can't remember what I listened to. I wanted to listen to, I wanted something that was, I didn't have anything saved in my Libby app, and I just basically was like, what's available? And I wanted something that I could just zone out on. So I think I picked a romance novel, just listened to it in the background. I wanted something that was just completely, didn't want to have to think, just listen and have the story kind of wash over me. The narrator is she narrates a lot, and I like her. She's very good. So that was nice. And then I just stitched. Oh, and Monday, apparently there was something that had come through. If you lived and I don't know, for my stitching friends that are up middle and northern Delaware, and I don't know if it would have gone down as far as Virginia, but Monday afternoon, there was a thing that went through afterwards at like 5, late afternoon, early evening. Somebody in our neighborhood kind of Facebook group was like, did we have an earthquake? What was that huge boom and the house shook and all of that stuff? Well, it turned out in Maryland, there was a couple fighter jets doing, maneuvers or whatever the jets do. And apparently it was sonic booms. So if you lived in, and I'm not sure exactly how far the sonic booms carry. We're not that far. I think they were off of Ocean City in Maryland. So that's not too far from where I am in southern Delaware. But yeah, apparently I didn't feel it at all. I was so engrossed in my stitching. I didn't hear the giant boom. I didn't hear basically or feel the ground shake, nothing. I was in the zone. I had to laugh afterwards because Mo was like, oh yeah, what did he think it was? I think he just thought it was a jet flying over or something or other. He didn't really pay much. He was working, so he didn't pay much attention to it. And yeah, I didn't hear it all. Talk about really being into the zone with your stitching. So yeah, I was loving that Summer Refreshes piece so much that I didn't hear the giant sonic boom. So that's about it. I'm excited for a little visit this weekend, and I would have PT next week. I've been doing my PT, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I got. So I guess that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for being here so much. As I always say, I really do appreciate you being here. I always finish off reminding you that you matter. You are important. Please don't forget that. Please take care of yourself. I hope you're well. I hope you are safe. There was some awful tornadoes that happened this past week. We got 3.5 inches of rain in a very short period of time. It poured, and we're still in a drought. I don't get it, because we got another pouring last night, and yet we're still in a drought. Anyway, I hope you are safe and well, and like I said, remember to always take care of yourself and to know that you are important. All right, until next time, happy stitching.